I'm Jen Knesny, and I am one of the chief collaborators here at the Catalasso Group, along with my fearless co-leader, Lisa Welter. My background, and there's not a lot of us here yet, but my background is pastor, lawyer, entrepreneur. What a weird combo, I know, but God had a plan all along. So I came on board with the Catalasso Group last November. And Lisa and I knew each other through a mutual friend, and we just found that God was just knitting together our backgrounds, and got really excited about all the things we're going to be talking to you about today. So, Lisa?
Yeah, and my name is Lisa Welter, and I am also a chief collaborator here at the Catalasso Group. Jen and I really just tag team. We see each other as equal partners, and so we're just having fun creating, designing, and offering pathways for women when it comes to the injustices that they see. So she has half of the vision, I have the other half. And so we've just found that it is so important. And we believe that God wants community as we're engaging with justice issues, because this stuff can be hard. But today we're hoping we're gonna just have some fun. Mm-hmm. And we're also trying to pay attention to licensing issues and copyrights and how we promote this in the future. And so we're going to share some fun clips, or we might just tell the stories of Dumb and Dumber, because we just love Dumb and Dumber.
Isn't that something? We're bringing
Harry and Lloyd,
clips, right? So you're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, we're talking about serious things, but we also know that life is just kind of humorous and hysterical and ridiculous sometimes. And so we think it's important to bring balance to all things.
Totally. So we're going to give you 15-minute segments on a particular topic. And so we know women are coming and going throughout these next 2 hours. Stay as long as you want. Or if you're like, I want to stay for the whole thing, we just welcome you to our table. You stay as long as you want. If you want to run to the restroom, please take care of yourself. We will be as well. If you see one of us leaving, it's because
we're grabbing an extra cup of coffee or water or whatever else needs to happen in 2 hour periods, as all women know.
Yes. Well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say too, we're coming at you from Dunn Brothers conference room in Arden Hills. And so if you're in the neighborhood and you want to stop on in, come and join us.
You should. Totally.
We'd love to have you hop in here and do a little cameo appearance. And yeah.
Well, ladies, it's good to have you with us. We're going to dream and think big today. And if you have questions, please put them in the comments. We're going to be paying attention. If we miss your comment, would you please just raise your hand and let us know, like, hey, you missed me, because we want to just be proactive to answer any questions you might have. But Jen, how about we get started on the first conversation? Some of you may have seen that we posted this ridiculous video of Kristen Hampton. Any of you watch Kristen Hampton? Okay, you need to follow her. She's on YouTube. She is the funniest woman I have ever spent time with, but she does the 3-second brow. She is super funny and entrepreneurial, and she does product testing for women. And so she does a product test on eyebrows, and just the first 3 minutes are hysterical. You will die laughing. But my vision for you is, what is the stamp you're supposed to bring to the world? Even if it might feel a little ridiculous, God has a certain plan for you, and he has your unique impression that you're supposed to bring to the world. So go look up Kristen Hampton. We won't show it because we just don't have time, but she is so fun. Or maybe we can show it at the end.
We'll show it at the end.
It's so funny.
Just because if people are still coming on the thing, they will not know what's going on. They'll be like, what's with this weird video we're watching? Okay, all right. So it's time to think big. Are you ready to think big? Okay, yes, our coffee is starting to kick in. Okay, so we're going to start off a conversation, and we are screen sharing so you guys can see what we're talking about. We're talking about leaving corporate America and doing what I love. I know I'm a woman who has had that dream in my life. I have been a serial entrepreneur my entire life. Even when I was in corporate jobs, I just had this dream and a vision of, not being a cog in a wheel and really just making my own wheel. And so I'm that kind of person. And a lot of us are at different phases of that. Some people are very comfortable in their jobs. They love what they do. They work for a great organization or company. That's my husband. He is Mr. Corporate guy. He loves that. And some of us are somewhere on that spectrum where it's like, oh, I have a dream, but I don't know. And so wherever you're at in this conversation, you are welcome. And I just want you to be thinking about what it is that you are, what are you picking up on here? Because entrepreneurialism can show up in a lot of ways. And there's always the nature of it being flexible. So keep that in your mind as you go. So let's talk a little bit about, like, if you are the type of person that's thought, I want to go make my mark on the world. I have an idea for a product or a service, or I have a vision to really impact the world for good or solve a problem for our human culture. Then this is what we're talking about. And so one of the things I want to talk about specifically is women. Women have such incredible capacity to impact so many areas of life all at the same time. We are just wired that way. We are wired for contributing to our families, contributing to our marriages, our relationships, our community in the way of volunteerism, supporting and serving and helping. We might do that in our church. We have such great capacity. And there's actually a scripture that talks about the capacity women are wired with, and it's Proverbs 31. And if you are a person of faith, you may have a love-hate relationship with Proverbs 31. I know that a lot of times,
Yeah.
don't you agree, Lisa?
Yeah.
That's the case, is like, man, I just can't live up to that. But the bottom line is you're wired that way. And so maybe for a minute, just say, hey, maybe I am Proverbs 31 woman, and I can bring home the bacon and fry it up in the pan and take care of the kids and make sure all the household needs are met. And you're wired for that. And so we want you to be able to step into that kind of identity and not have, self-doubt or hatred or guilt or shame or anything. And so that's kind of what we want to talk about. But one of the things I want to call out from Proverbs 31 is how women are wired for maximizing opportunity. We are wired for being wise investors of our resources and our gifts and our skills. We're wired for it. Yeah. And when women get opportunity, they make a great impact on their community and their culture. Sociologically speaking, I want to just paint a very generalized depiction of gender differences between men and women. Sociologically speaking, if you read studies or books on this, a lot of times when men come into possession of resources, money, opportunity, whether that's career or finances or resources, they think more about their status. They think more about being perceived as successful by their peer group. And men have a fear of failure. And so they need to be perceived as successful and strong. And so when women get their hands on resources, this is all like based on research, when women get their hands on resources, whether it's money, position, opportunity, they tend to leverage that to improve the community and maximize and multiply benefits and community advancement. I'm gonna stop talking a little.
It's so true. I see it in just the hardwiring of my kids. I can see the difference between my son and my daughters and where they spend their resources. I see it even in my own marriage. My husband's looking for the newest, fastest car that he can buy. And that's not a bad thing, right? I don't say that to throw men under the bus, but when women are given an opportunity, I think about my own story. I'm always looking for, where can I use this to do good? If it's in my family, if it's in my extended family, maybe it's out in my community. I've just been hardwired for that, Jen. And yet I think one of the challenges for women as they're considering like entrepreneurialism is, for me, it's about security and support. Like, how do I do this? Because I love what you're saying, but I need security. And I definitely need support from others that might be in my same lane or seeing people who are a little bit further ahead than me, because that's scary.
Yep. Yeah. And I'll unpack that a little bit more too, because Lisa, as you were sharing, I was thinking about how in the area of security and support, I think what security looks like is, what if I do this and I fail? Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to be diverting some of my energy and time that I give to everything and everyone else to pursue this dream, to pursue this idea. What if I fail? And the idea is like almost too much to bear, which is what stops women in their tracks most of the time. We just go, oh, I just don't know if I can pay that price. Like I have to give all my time to my kids or my marriage or all these other things I'm invested in. And so there's this fear of, if it doesn't work out, can I live with that? What is that? What's it going to cost? What's it going to cost me personally or professionally or to the people around me? And then that leads into the question about support. Because a lot of times, I don't know about you, but I can be notoriously bad about delegating and asking for help. This is true even inside my own home, right? Like as I've had seasons where I'm busier or I'm working more, it's like this idea that I got to do it all and then some. So now I just have to find more hours in my day. And that means I can't sleep or I can't watch TV or I can't go to the gym, right? Because now I have to do the dishes and wash the laundry and make sure my kids are fine and make sure I'm making meals. And are we all getting exhausted? It's like, because we're like, how can I ask for help or how can I delegate without feeling mom guilt? Or like, oh, I guess I can't do it all. And then women can really, we're our own worst critics as a peer group. I mean, how many women have been shamed by other women? Right. Can I get a show of hands?
Yeah.
Yes. So that's also part of what we're doing here at the Catalasso Group is we're creating an environment for encouraging you and championing you. And there will be no room or space for shaming one another as we are figuring it out. So can we get a hallelujah on that?
Right.
Ooh, I see that.
Amen.
She's got the woo.
Well, and here's what's super cool about what Jen and I are talking about. Yes, we're talking about how do we like address the injustices that we see, but can you actually build a career? Can you actually build a stable income for yourself and do good with what you already know and what you're already burdened for? And the answer is yes. And we've got a training program called Transformative Family Mediation, but we're really creating a programmatic approach to our training so that you can fully launch and go be kingdom advancers in the way that God is calling you to do that. This training supports any injustice that you see. Yes, we've anchored it on families. The reason why we chose families is because families are the social fabric of the society. If families are not strong, we don't have a process for families, it's kind of game over for the rest of society, right? And but I want to tell you guys something, that there's a shortage of mediators this is a pervasive issue across the country. The average family mediator makes $200 to $500 an hour. Let that just soak in. That's a lot.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And the courts in Minnesota specifically, if you choose to like say you have a burden for divorce, every divorcing couple choosing to walk through the threshold or the doorway of the courts, they're told they have to choose mediation first. So right out of the gate, just having that impression of the need, the number of families that walk through the courts, half of America has already experienced divorce. It's a lot of hurting families. There's a lot of opportunities just in that lane. But what we're offering to you, the training, is so much bigger than that. It's so flexible. You can do it in all kinds of categories, and we're going to unpack that as well. But Jen, we're about a minute from transitioning to our next conversation. Do you have anything you want to leave women with?
I think what I would leave you with is just think about what it would mean to you to have a skill set that you are fully equipped within a very short period of time to make the kind of money we just said on your own schedule, on your own terms, as much or as little as you want. And that we would fully equip you in also believing in yourself, having every skill set you need to do this and be able to launch. That is what we've learned in the last 2 decades of our lives. We're giving to you in a fraction of that so that you can go and launch and do what you want to do and be fully equipped in conflict resolution. Like who doesn't need that in their home, in their school, in their church, in their work environment? My goodness.
If you stayed in your work
environment. Being able to hold space for the most toxic situation you can imagine and not get taken out by it. Yeah. You being the presence of calm and facilitating resolution. Incredible.
Yeah, incredible. Okay. When you think about Dumb and Dumber, right? There's the little clip where Harry and Lloyd are talking about going to the ball, and I think it's Harry says, "Come on, Lloyd, let's go make you Cinderella." And so Lloyd is trying on all these different ridiculous suits. He's got his hair combed down, and he messes it up because it's not him. He's not showing up in the world the way that he wants. And then he bursts out of the dressing room and he's wearing this ridiculous tangerine suit. Do you remember this scene? It's so funny. But it's like he came into the place that he knew exactly who he was, how he was going to show up in the world. And maybe it looked goofy to everybody else, but he was elated. He was so happy. And so I want to leave you with a verse. Isaiah 54:4 says, do not be afraid. You will not be put to shame. Do not fear disgrace. You will not be humiliated. You will be taken care of. That is what the Lord said in Isaiah 54.